All right, we are now on chapter Gimel, chapter 3, paragraph 3 of the Maamarim in Shin Beis by the previous Lubavitcher Rebbe, Rabbi Yitzchak. It talks about fixing your personality, or in the language of Chassidut, it's called Nefesh HaBahamit, your animal soul. Of course, we're talking about a human animal. Good morning, Shin. Wonderful. You have your mimer? But we have to understand. Ma Godel, what is so great? The Ma Kocha, and what is the power? Shall Nefesh HaBahamit of the animal soul. I share that. Al Yado, by means of it, Davka specifically, Bo'im, we come, Lebechina, to the level, Bli Gavul, of unlimited. You with me, Kobe? Okay, what did we say yesterday? We said, a human being, what is a human being? A human being is a soul inside of a body. In a Jewish person, there's really two souls inside of the body. Two souls. A non-Jewish person, his soul is also spiritual. People have conscience. Could it be that cord is maybe covering over the thing? Maybe? It's not. People have conscience. People have a sense of right and wrong. But other nations, other than non-Jews, they don't have an ability to feel God more than they feel themselves. In other words, they can feel that God exists. They're not. There are people that are very sensitive and very. It's not that the Jews are necessarily smarter than anybody, more sensitive than anybody, or more talented than everybody else. No. But we say that even the most unsensitive Jew, even the Jew with the worst, most selfish personality, but still he can sometimes feel God. Now, I'm not talking about feel spiritual. Spiritual is different. Spiritual is just a creation of God. Spiritual is just another, side of your ego, your spiritual side. Maybe we can even call that the spiritual side of a person, his intellectual soul. Because your mind feels awareness of something. Here we're talking about a person that actually, he feels that God is right. There's simple Jews, even sinners, even people that change their religions, that they're willing to give their life, not to bow down to an idol or bow down to the cross or something like that. According to one explanation that I heard, that was the whole Inquisition. I don't know if I've seen other explanations also. But the Inquisition that was in Spain was only for the Jews who changed their religions. The Inquisition, all the other Jews left. The Jews ran away. The ones who were faithful to Judaism, they expelled all the Jews. And then the Inquisition came after. I don't know if this is true or not. I saw it written in a book. And the Inquisition was on the Jews and other heretics that they found in Spain, witches and whatever it is, things that they thought, people that they didn't think were going according to the church. They were trying to hide themselves. So they had to have the Inquisition. They tortured people in order to get the truth out, because they were pretending that they were loyal Catholics. And among those were the Jews who changed the religion. So these people changed the religions. So this is as far as I heard. This is what I learned. I don't know, I have to admit, I learned in different places. But if they would just admit, if the Jew would just say, confess his sin and say, yes, I did this thing and I'm sorry, I'm willing to change my religion, I'll be this, and the guy would be saved. They wouldn't kill him. But they refused to do it. The Jews, even the Jews who had changed their religions, they refused to admit, I am not a Jew. They didn't want to say it. They wouldn't say it in public. Right? They would do certain things. They would go to church, they would do this, and made those words to come out of their mouth, public is a public statement that I'm living because I'm not a Jew, they wouldn't do it. They refused to do it. They said, I'm not Jewish. Those words couldn't come out of their mouth. Even though the fact is I've seen, and I've been on Mitzrayim also, in America, And, people, you'll see all these people that you'll say, are you Jewish, sir? They say, what do you care? Or my mother was Jewish. Or it doesn't even, a person who's not Jewish says, no, I'm not Jewish. Right? Who is it? In Israel, they'll say, yeah, I'm not Jewish. In Israel, they have no problem. Yeah. Israelis, no problem. You can tell if it's an Israeli or not. In America, if the guy says, no, I'm not Jewish, he says it with a little bit of an accent, say, you don't have to say you're not Jewish. Say you don't want to put on tefillin. What do you have to say? Israelis were the education in Israel. No problem. I'm not Jewish. I'm an Israeli. No, I'm not Jewish. that was the Rebbe Rishab said about how in the way the Zionism was worse than, God forbid, than Christianity. Because Christianity was like it was an option for Judaism, and Zionism tried to redefine Judaism. This is a Jew. I'm not a Jew anymore. I'm an Israeli. I'm a Zionist. No identity. Nevertheless, even those people, if you get right down to it, maybe if somebody else asks them, maybe if they're asked on television or something like that, maybe they'd say it to me because they figure that who am I to make them admit the truth? Who is this guy? I'll just say whatever I want. The opposite of what he wants to hear. He wants to hear. I'll say the opposite of what he wants to hear. They're just doing it. But deep down inside of themselves, they feel that they're a Jew. The same thing as I feel I'm a Jew. The same thing as the Lubavitcher Rebbe feels that he's a Jew. They feel the exact same thing. So that's called the godly soul. It's called the godly soul. It says, no, godly soul is put inside of an animal soul and it's put inside of a body. Why is it put inside? So all the other religions in the world will say that it's put inside in order to get out. The soul is put into the body in order that the body shouldn't fool it, and you get out of the body. Right? You leave the body as much as possible. Anyway, Judaism says no. The reason that we're here is in order to purify, to refine the body. The body is a good thing, potentially the best. The body and the animal soul is higher than the godly soul. The animal soul actually gives an elevation to your whole purpose in life, the whole creation of the world. Why did God create the world? In order that there should be animal souls, and inside of them is put godly souls in order to fix up the world. In other words, God didn't create the world so the world will become this big, maze or big, testing ground, and that you just get out of it. The world is a testing ground. There's no doubt about it. And the world is also a maze. There's also no doubt about it. Those things are true. But that's only externally. That's the external reasons, the outside reasons. The real reason is in order to see a person who a person is, to take a stand. That you're all of a sudden, your animal soul says, listen, I'm a Jew. I'm a Jew. Right? Otherwise you could say, what do I care? What do I care? Say what I want. Eventually I'm going to die anyway. Everybody dies anyway. When I die, meanwhile, I'm here in the world. I'll do mitzvahs, I'll do Torah, I'll do this. Those things are more important. No. All of a sudden this feeling that I'm a Jew becomes the most important thing. That the godly soul suddenly comes out in your animal soul. You're willing to give up your whole animal soul. Right? Says the Rebbe that is a godly soul alone. But the ideal is supposed to be that the godly soul affects your animal soul, and others, it affects your personality in such a way that not just you're willing to die for Judaism, but you're willing to live before Judaism. You're happy doing the mitzvahs. If it comes down to it, God forbid you're willing to die. But the purpose really is not to die. That's just an unusual situation. The purpose is to use this godly soul, this power that you were even willing to die with, and to put this into every minute of your life. Every second of your life, right? And in order to do that, you have to be pretty convinced. You have to be convinced. You can't just keep faking it all the time. You can't pretend all of that. It's like there's these people that become, big rock and roll stars or big movie stars or this. And as soon as they're not movie stars or rock and roll stars, then they get all depressed and they feel miserable if they're not on the stage, if their rating drops or something, then they feel terrible, right? Why do they feel terrible? Because they were doing their job and now they've got no job. They don't feel they're worth anything, right? But our job is all the time, right? Our job is being a Jew in the world and to show the whole world that God exists and to advertise that there's a creator that cares about us and that loves us. There's meaning in the world, right? This is very good. That's very good. So says the Rebbe, why? Why is this animal soul so important? Just get rid of the animal soul. That's the main thing. Ignore it totally. You fellas do Rambam every day? You do Rambam every day? And the Sefer is very good. So the Rambam, in the big book of the Rambam, so he brings down that a person might think that, what do I need all this trouble for about the Yetzer Hora and this? I just won't get married. I won't live in a house. I won't eat almost anything. I won't wear clothes. I'll just do the minimum, get through life. I won't go outside. I'll sit I'll learn the Torah all the time. I'll go through life. I won't have any problems. I won't get any, my children won't be giving me any problems. I won't have any children. I won't have a wife. I won't have a family. I won't have a mother-in-law. I won't have any bills. I won't have any that. There's that. What's wrong with that? Right? That's a good thing. The animal soul is a bad thing. The Rambam says this is not the way to live your life. This is not the way what God put us here for. Right? In fact, a person is going to have to give, accounting. It's a sin. You have to use the world in order to serve Hashem. Says the Rebbe, why? Why is this world so important? Why not be just like the Eastern religions? That's what, like the Buddhists and those people, that's what they say. You go to a monastery, you go to some place, or whatever it's called, and you sit your whole life, you sit. And you think, you don't get married. The priests, the Catholics and other people, you don't get married, you live a life of austerity. That's a really religious person, right? Doesn't care about the world, doesn't care about anybody, or he prays for the world or something like that. He's not attached to himself. He's outside of himself. Says the Rebbe, no, that's not a good thing. You have to be in the world. Why? Because the world, the animal soul, is really higher than the godly soul. The animal soul has tremendous, tremendous, tremendous power, tremendous good within it. Power for good. Why? That's what the Rebbe says. Why? Let's go. The answer is like this. Hine, behold. Omar Razal. Take your pencil, please. Pencil. Omar Razal. The rabbis say. Have some of that nose paper there, please. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Omar Razal. The rabbis say. Kabrios Shalom. Things, and sometimes things are like the way God created the world. How did God create the world? Bereisha, in the beginning. Chashucha, darkness. V'hadar nahora. And after that, there is light. How did God make the world? First of all, he said, Vaye'erev, Vaye'boker yom echad. First of all, there was night. After that, there was day. Why did God do it that way? Why didn't he start off with the daytime first? So it starts off with the night. That's why we start Shabbos in the nighttime. Why do we start Shabbos in the nighttime? Like the world. How was the world created? God started off everything in the night. Vaye'erev, Vaye'boker. First of all, there was night, then was day. God makes sometimes dark first and then light. Chashucha, darkness. Last line. See where we are? Last line. Chashucha, darkness. V'nahora, and light. Who in Yan is the topic of spiritually? Tohu, Tikkun. Tohu and Tikkun. Have you ever heard these words before? Shnir. Tohu and Tikkun? Yeah. Tohu and Tikkun. What is Tohu and what is Tikkun? Here, I have this chart. I think people messed up this chart. I have back on me. No. It was taken away. Okay, it's not important. Tohu and Tikkun. Have you ever heard of these terms before? Tobi. Abi, you heard Tohu and Tikkun. You know what it means? Akiva. Yes. All right, let me just explain. Let me explain in a little way. Let me explain it in a very short way. Hashem created the world, right? But he created the world according to a system. There's a system that he creates the world for. That he created the world. There's a physical system and there's a spiritual system. Scientists, little by little, are revealing the laws that govern the physical world. Right? That God made the world in a system. And you can find out what the system is. Then there's also Kabbalists, like the Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. He wrote the Zohar like 2,000 years ago. There was the Arizal, Rabbi Yitzchak Luria. He was like 400 years ago, 500 years ago. He lived in Tzfat. These were great Kabbalists. They understood, they revealed the spiritual system of the world. Spiritual system of the world. So they said the world is created according to certain laws. Two major stages of creation were Tohu and Tikkun. There were stages before that. Stages with the tzimtzum, with the kav, all these different. Here we're not talking about that. Tohu and tikkun. Tohu and tikkun. What's tohu and what's tikkun? Tohu is 10 sfirot of God, the 10 aspects of God, completely separated one from the other. Pure chachma, pure bina, pure gevura, pure chesed, pure. Everything is pure. No connection to anything else. What's it something like? Let's say music. Music, before a composer puts it together, there's music. There's 12 tones. Each tone is a pure tone. Ooh, pure. Right? It's a pure tone. You play another tone, it messes with this first tone. Ooh, ooh. So don't. I want to hear the first pure. A painter, before he goes to paint, he has on his palette certain colors, right? Those colors are pure colors. Pure, whatever he has, blue, green, whatever it is. Blue, red, green is a combination. Blue, yellow, red, right? He has these colors, white, black, right? He has different colors. These colors are pure. Right? Pure. Then after that, you mix them up. You mix the music, you mix the... The same thing, Hashem. How did Hashem make the world? Hashem started out, first of all, he had 10 pure sfirot. This is already a later stage in the creation. It's explained according to Kabbalah. Anyway, a very high stage in the creation is what's called Tohu. Tohu is all the sfirot, all the aspects of God are totally pure, not mixed anything. None of them mixed one with the other. Right? Chesed is pure chesed. Gevura is pure gevura. Tiferes is pure tiferes. Everything is pure. Pure. Very spiritual, very holy. In fact, too spiritual, too holy. That's what God purposely made it. He made it that everything was so pure and so holy that it couldn't get together. There was no harmony. Right? There's no harmony. It's like if you everybody plays one instrument as loud as they can. Right? Loud as they can. So you can't hear any of the other instruments. What? Oh, good, yeah. Or let's say an orchestra when they're warming up, right? Guys warming up. So the bassoon does everything a bassoon can do, and the violin does everything the violin from the highest to the lowest, right? Pure violin, pure bassoon, pure oboe, pure tuba, pure drums, kettle drums. Everything is just complete confusion. Nobody cares about anybody else. That's tohu. The word tohu also means confusion. But really the word tohu comes from tremendously pure, high. It says in tohu there was what was called the breaking of the vessels. You ever heard this before? Breaking of the vessels? In tohu there was breaking of vessels. God wanted that there should be bad in the world. He wanted that this world should be confused. How did he do it? He made a level which is called tohu. It was very, very pure, tremendously pure. It was so pure that it couldn't exist. All the lights that were there went back up to their source, right? And all the vessels that held these little bit of lights, this pure, it says they all came down. They all tumbled down into the world. Why did they come down into the world? They came down because on these vessels were a little bit of light, and this little bit of light gave life to confusion and to evil in the world. God wanted there to be evil in the world. He wanted there to be confusion. That's what God wanted. Now, everything in the world that's evil has a source in good, right? Has a source in good. Murder. Is murder a good thing? It's slaughter an animal to kill it. It's a good thing, right? In order to kill it, there were sacrifices. We're murdering. You were killing. Killing is a good thing. Kill your next door neighbor, it's bad. Kill your next door neighbor's cow, it's bad. And notice everything that there is in the world that's bad is just a misuse of something that's good. It's just misusing something that's good. Even if you go into a drugstore, right? Almost all the things that are in the drugstore can kill you. Almost everything that there is that's found in a drugstore can kill you. Right? If you take it in the wrong amounts, if you take it in the wrong time, if you take it in the wrong person takes it. Right? If you take it for the wrong disease, right? It could strengthen your disease. But if it's used in the proper amount and you use it, then it's good. So that's what tohu is. Pure energy. Pure energy. Pure energy. What's tikkun? Tikkun is using everything in the proper amount. That's what tikkun is. Tikkun is knowing how to harmonize things. how to make the picture beautiful, how to make the orchestra play properly, right? To harmonize the colors, to harmonize the music, the drugs in the drugstore, to give them in the proper amounts, to mix them in a proper way. Right? That's what's called tikkun. Tikkun is lower than tohu. Tohu is first, it's very, very pure, and tikkun is calming everything down, making everything right harmonious one with the other. That's the level of tikkun. Usually, it's tohu is called above atzilut, and tikkun is from atzilut and down. Right, you know the four worlds? You know the four worlds, Kobe? What are the four worlds? Highest world? And next to that? You know? Bria. And then after that? Yetzira. And then after that, Asiya. Right? We've talked about this before. In other words, from Atzilus and down, that's called tikkun. Fixing up. The word tikkun means to fix up. Atzilus, right above Atzilus, is the world of what's called tohu. Tohu. Sometimes it's called nikudim also. Sometimes. Tohu. Good? So generally, that's what we know. Tohu is very, very high, tremendously high, so high and so pure, there can't be any order there. And from that, this world of Tohu broke. Hashem wanted it to be that way. And it came tumbling down to make confusion in this world. And then there's tikkun. Tikkun is lower than Tohu. But the idea of tikkun is to fix up the world. To take all these lights and this confusion of the world and make order out of it. Okay, let's go. Ready? So it says, in the beginning, God created darkness. After He created darkness, He created light. What's darkness? Darkness is tohu. Now, why is it called darkness? For two reasons. Number one, it's called darkness because it's so high. It's so high. If you bring Albert Einstein into this room, and he starts to give you a lecture on physics, he says, do you understand? You don't understand nothing, right? It's just too high. Well, I don't understand. Didn't you learn basic physics? I learned a little bit of basic physics, but I mean, this is too much. It's all dark. Right? It's just too much. What's above your understanding is called dark. So it says, in the beginning, it was dark, and then afterwards, God made light. First of all, there were the really high things, and then afterwards, the low things. This is the thing of Tohu and Tikkun. Tohu, ubechinas choshech, is the level of darkness. The Tikkun is the level of or light. Hine, because behold, Klalos. Okay, next page. Hahefresh, the entire. Here, take a page. Maybe. What? You don't have it on the other page? What? Let's see your page. You have it there. It should be there. Oh, I see. Yes, yes. No, you don't. Good. I'm sorry. Do I have another page? Oh, yeah. Maybe I don't have another page. One second. I don't have another page. Okay. You have another page? You don't?
Is this the last page? What's in here?
One second. What? No. This is the Maamarim of Purim. All right, I'll have to go upstairs and make copies. I'm sorry. 1 second. What time is it? I made. I don't know what happened. I made it. Okay. Yeah. Here it is. 1 second. You have it. It's on your here. So that's the last page. Yeah, it should say last page. You don't have it there? You don't have one? Huh? Let me see your mimer again. Let me see it. There it is. That's it. That's it. Last page. Even though the fact is I made a mistake there also, it's not the last page. We have to make one more. All right, let's go. You have it? You have it? It says last page. Okay, let's go. I know I made it. Okay. Hafresh, the difference. So it didn't come out good, but it's clear. A little bit clear. Hafresh, you with me? Coach there? Hafresh, the difference. Yes? Hafresh, the difference between Tohu and tikkun. The difference between tohu and tikkun, Yudua is known. Tohu, that in tohu, haya was riboy ha'or, a lot of light, umiut ha'kelim, and a little bit of vessels. Okay, write it down. Write it down. You won't know this. Riboy, a lot, or of light, umiut, and a little bit kelim of vessels. That's tohu. In tohu, there was a lot of light, but very little vessels. Like a genius. Sometimes you get a person who's a genius. A genius in mathematics, a genius in art, but he can't do anything else. He can't deal with people. He can't get married. He can't talk to anyone. He can't. Ask him a question about art. He was a genius, tremendous genius. They say, in a certain degree, I'm not sure this is true, but they say that Isaac Newton was like that. Isaac Newton. Have you heard of Isaac Newton? They say that Isaac Newton was the most genius person in mathematics that ever lived, even more than Einstein. Oh, who knows? I'm not, but anyway, he's a tremendous genius. He couldn't get married to anybody. He couldn't get married, and he couldn't stand people. A person that didn't, wasn't at his level in mathematics. He just didn't get along. He had a terrible temper, and that's what they say. He's a very spiritual person. Very spiritual person. Huh? No. Isaac Newton, as far as I know, I wasn't Jewish. But he was a very spiritual person. He believed very strongly about God. Did not believe in the church at all. Believed that there's a creator that's ordering the universe, that there's an order to the universe and this. But he didn't believe in the church. He was very against the church. But he was very for God. He was very firmly believing God. And but he couldn't get along with anybody. He was just so, into mathematics. That's like tohu. The world of tohu is tremendous lights, but no vessels. As you can't hold all this stuff together. Doesn't it? It says that's the world of tohu. Like an animal also. It says like animals. Animals are, right? Try to talk sometimes to a scorpion or whatever it is. You can't talk, you can't deal with them, right? That's tohu. He just does his thing, and that's its thing. That's just the nature of a cow is always going to be a cow. It happens to be the nature of a cow. You can tame it, but that's also part of its nature. Right? You can tame it. A lion or something like that. You can, you can scare it. You can tame it, whatever it is, for a while. But eventually they bite their owner. Right? Usually these lion tamers, they take the teeth out of the animals. The claws, they declaw them, and this because they know that in 1 second, that's it, right? So it says, that's tohu. Tohu is pure, one thing pure, and you can't change it. That's what tohu, pure light, very little vessels. Tikkun is mute, or a little bit of light, not much light, but ribuya kelim, and a lot of vessels. Tikkun means you're willing to get along with everybody, right? You can play in an orchestra, right? You're the best whatever it is, piccolo player in the world, but you can hold back. You can hold back. You can go according to the music. You don't always have to be always shining out. It says riboya kelim, inyan riboya, or this whole idea of the very great light of tohu, umiut, or in the little bit of light of tikkun. What's the difference between tohu and tikkun? Now, I want to tell you why the Rebbe talking about this, because the Rebbe is going to tell us that your animal soul comes from tohu. The source of the animal soul is really higher than the godly soul. You'll see in a second. So the light, the little bit of light that's in tikkun, ein zeh, this is not shehu, that it is otoa, or the same light. It's not that it's the same light. Rach shehu riboy. Umiut, it's just that there's more or less light. But the light that is in tohu is different than the light that's in tikkun. Or that the light who is ba'ofen, in a way. You with me, Shner? Write it down. Come on, don't dream. Ba'ofen, in a way, near the end of the line, third line down. Ba'ofen, see where you are, Kobe? You have it? Ba'ofen, in a way, acher, different, lagamri, completely. To orot, the tohu, that the lights of tohu, hayu, were, orot, lights, Na'alim, great. Shebe'ein aroch, incomparable, klal at all. Kamo, like. Orot Tikkun, the lights of Tikkun. The lights of Torah are totally different than the lights of Tikkun. What does it mean? The Yuv and Zed, this can be understood. Al derech mashal, like an example, or a shemesh, the light of the sun. The or halavana, and the light of the moon. Shenikra, that it's called Mi'or Agadol, the great illuminator. Mi'or is the illuminator, Hagadol, or Mi'or HaKatan, and the little illuminator. That's the language of the Torah, right? God created the sun and the moon. Mi'or HaKatol v'mishas b'yom, Mi'or HaKatan v'mishas b'layla. That God created two lights. It says in the fourth day of creation. The fourth day of creation, they got a big light and a small light. Hari, behold, or Hashem is the light of the sun. Who or Naila, it is a higher light. Naila, write this down, Kobe. You don't know this word. Naila, higher. First word on the line. She's there. Write it down. Naila, higher. Shebe'ein aroch, which is not comparable, klal at all. In other words, the light of the sun is totally different from the light of the moon. It's not that the sun has more light and the moon has less light. The sun has a totally different light. It has different vitamins in it and different elements in it, make things grow. The moon, as much moonlight as you have, it won't make citrus trees grow, and it doesn't work. Grass, peyoter means yuvim. This is more understood mimash omer razal, from what the rabbis say, or the light shenivra, that was created. Beyom Arishon, the light that was created on the first day of creation. Aya Adam, man would. Sofe, look. Umabit, and that is a gaze. But with it, he could use this light, misofa olam, from one end of the world, ad sofa, to the other end of the world. What does it mean from one end of the world to the other end of the world? That doesn't make any sense. What does it mean from one end of the world? One end of the world to the other means he could see his back. What could he see? From one end of the world, where I'm standing, to the whole total end of the world. What's the other end of the world? Where I'm standing, just my back, all the way around. What he could see. So take a mirror, look at the back. And what did he want to see? What could he see? Huh? You understand? What could he see? So he saw from one end of the world. What did he see? What was Adam? There was nothing there. He saw from one end of the world to the other. What was there to see?